Hey guys, it's Josh. Funny story. Apparently my camera was like, nope, your videos are not going to be an hour. They're going to be under 30 minutes, so that's what we did. Okay, so in the last video, I marked where we left off. But first, before I get right back into it, I want to cover the questions. I think Maggie actually proposed both of them. And in case you guys want to call me out, yes, I'm wearing the same outfit, but I'm not an outfit repeater. Although I do that, but not tonight. It's the same night. I'm still studying. Okay, so our first question from the last video was, do you have to retest if your CDL gets suspended? Yes. So if your CDL gets suspended, you have to, there's usually a period of time that you have to wait. Be it, you know, a week, or I don't think they do suspensions less than 60 days, maybe 30, I'm not sure. But you have to wait the period, pay the fees to reinstate your CDL, but then your CDL doesn't seem like it gets reinstated, because then it says you have to apply for a brand new CDL. You have to go through the process all over again. Don't get your CDL suspended. That's my tip. Or that's what I'm going to try and do. Not do. Yeah, not do. The second question was, do you have to have a CDL in order to drive an RV? In most states, no, provided that your RV is strictly recreational. Because if it's strictly recreational, and it's not like a dog grooming van or something that you also sometimes go on vacation in and shampoo your kids on the way to Lake Tahoe, if your vehicle is strictly recreation, that means it does not meet the very literal definition of commercial motor vehicle. So that's what I was able to find. Interesting. Okay, now where we left off, I'm going to recap because I was kind of yammering on about it, but we left off right on the exception portion. And this is like literally still the first page. I'm going to try and move a little bit faster though. Sorry guys. The GCWR gross combination weight rating of the power unit will not be used to define a commercial motor vehicle when the power unit is not towing another vehicle. In determining whether the vehicle is a representative vehicle for the skills test and the group of CDL for which the applicant is studying, the vehicle's gross vehicle weight rating or gross combination weight rating must be used, not the vehicle's actual gross vehicle weight or gross combination weight. I want to know who wrote this manual, because they have to be a saint. There's a lot of times where the word vehicle is like 8 times in a sentence. It's insane. Essentially what I'm getting from this is, when you go to take your road test, you actually have to have the combination vehicle, the tractor and the trailer, if you want to be able to drive the tractor and the trailer after you pass, which you will pass because you're made of awesome. So
don't forget, Ruby said that when you're taking your test, you have to say combination vehicle. Don't say the trailer or anything like that.
Yeah, in the video, and I'll link that video again in my pants in each of these videos so that you can get it from any of them. Hopefully that'll make it a little easier for all of us to do what we gotta do. But in the video that Ruby, I believe her name's Ruby, the Wil-Trans instructor, she said when you're taking your test, if you call it a tractor trailer or a tractor or a trailer, I think she said they'll fail you. But at the very least, they're gonna look at you like you clearly don't know what you're talking about. But I think she said they can fail you for that. So it should always be called a combination vehicle, as far as what she said. But make sure you watch that video. Don't just take it on my word, because again, I'm a rookie and I'm still learning all of this. Okay, the next section is gross combination weight rating. GCWR is the greater of 1. A value specified by the manufacturer of the power unit, if such value is displayed on the Federal Motor Vehicle Safety Standard FMVSS certification label required by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, or 2. The sum of the gross vehicle weight ratings, GVWRs, or the gross vehicle weights, GVWs, of the power unit and the towed units, or any combination thereof that produces the highest value. You know, if somebody talked to me in all these acronyms, I would literally think that they were not speaking English. Or, like, I would think that they were a part of the Illuminati or something. Guarantee it, I would. Whoa. Hazardous materials, that's the next definition. Hazardous materials endorsement is required of placarded, am I saying that right? Placarded? I think I am. Hazardous material haulers operating commercial vehicles in vehicle class A, B, or C in compliance with federal law. Drivers wishing to obtain, transfer, or renew a hazardous materials endorsement must first have a security threat assessment STA completed by the Transportation Security Administration TSA. That's one of the questions, my friends. Before you can get your hazmat endorsement, you have to have a security threat assessment completed by the Transportation Security Administration. That's one of the questions that they can ask, or that they do ask. This assessment includes, but is not limited to, fingerprinting and a criminal background check. For TSA office locations, fees, and appointment information, go to https://universalenroll.dhs.gov or call toll-free 1-855-347-8371, and for the next 30 minutes, shipping is free. Just kidding. Those who have previously had a security threat assessment completed within the past 2 years or of applying to renew or transfer their CDL may not be required to complete another STA at this time. It took all of my effort not to say STD. Just letting you know. That's my sense of humor. You may call 1-800-648-1854 to check on your status. Okay, the next definition is interstate commercial driver license. Nationwide. Authorizes operation of a commercial motor vehicle in interstate commerce, which is nationwide. The next definition is an important one. No manual transmission restriction, NM, will be added to every license that is taken in a CMV with an automatic transmission. This prohibits the operation of a commercial vehicle that is equipped with a manual transmission unless the driver has passed the required examinations, written, pre-trip, basic skills, and road tests to show that he is qualified to operate a manual transmission equipped vehicle. This is really important for those of you that are in the situation that I'm in, where you're going to be an apprentice or you're going into a school and they're going to help you get your CDL. You need to ask them, can I take my test in a manual? Because you don't want to go through all of this process and to go through all of this test and then come to find out on the day of they give you an automatic and then you've got this restriction on your CDL and you're going to have to go retest to get one for any manual. And to be honest, the automatic transmissions were only used in companies for a little while because then companies were finding out that they suck. And then they've all pretty much gone back to them. So if you're with a company that still uses automatics, take the test in a manual or do what you can to get in with a company that will get you, like, get your CDL with a manual, because that's the standard of, I mean, some companies have combination where you can, it's automatic, but you can click it over to manual. You can't drive those if you have NM on your license. So that's just something really important to know about when you're asking questions. And whatever questions you ask, make sure you're talking to your recruiter, but you're also doing your research about the company on your own, because it's been told to me that recruiters will say anything to get you in the door. I don't think that's how my recruiter operates. However, it's something that the standard has a bad rep. I mean, the industry has a bad rep for the recruiters saying what they need to get you to sign.
I don't think you can take the test, a manual test, in automatic that has the manual switchover, because it's not the same thing.
I don't know that. Damn it, Maggie. can you take the CDL test in a manual and automatic vehicle? I'm sure you can, but if so,
But it's not the same as an actual manual.
what does that mean?
Well, you could take the test, but I'm just saying I think you would only get the automatic because it's not an actual manual.
That's a good question. So what Maggie basically just asked, and after we're done recording, I'm gonna Google that, and then I'll put the question and the answer in my pants, because I don't know, if you take the CDL test in a truck that's automatic but can click over to manual, what does that certify you for? What does that license you for? Because that's not the same as just a manual truck where the stick's in the floor. It might be nice to have that extra leg room, but I'd much rather not have NM on my license.
It's not going to have a clutch, so probably you won't get certified for manual because it does have a clutch. So you need to have a clutch in order to drive a manual vehicle. So I'm sure you'll still have that even if it has a switchover.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not a regular.
Well, I'm just saying there's some companies that have ones that are both. But
Sorry, this is wrong.
no, it's fine. This is actually good because we're not just blah 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 falling asleep reading our book. We're actually talking about it. This is what you would do if you had a study buddy, or two, as it were. So that's a good question, and we will answer that in the beginning of the next video, and also in my pants. Okay, the next part. Non-domiciled CLP or non-domiciled, whatever, CDL, means a CLP or CDL respectively issued to an individual domiciled in a foreign country. An individual who has established legal presence in the United States is eligible to apply for a CLP or CDL. The word non-domicile will be printed on the qualified applicant's credentials. Also, that license or that permit will expire when your residence expires. So, if you renew your visa or whatever it is that a person who's here temporarily does, then you have to go and renew your license. So yeah. NT restriction will be placed on every Class A license if an applicant performs the skills test in a combination vehicle for a Group A CDL with the power unit and towed unit connected with a pintle hook or other non-fifth wheel connection. NT restriction prohibits the operation of a tractor-trailer unit, i.e. no tractor-trailer. Again, if the truck that they send you to take the test in has a pintle hook or something that's not a fifth wheel connection, you're not going to be able to drive. There's no point doing that. So make sure that you're working with a fifth wheel. And I can't show you what one of those is, but in the video that I'm going to link in my pants with Ruby, the Wil-Trans instructor, it's really cool because at the end of the video, after the trip is after the pre-trip inspection is done and she goes through all that, she also shows hooking and unhooking the truck so you can see the fifth wheel. She does that so you can see what you're working with, and it's actually really cool. So if you watch that video, you'll know what a fifth wheel looks like. You probably already do, but I didn't really know what it looked like, so it was really awesome that I got to see that. Okay, the next definition. Passenger vehicles endorsement is required in Class A, B, or C vehicles that are designed to transport 16 or more passengers, including the driver. School bus endorsement is required in Group A, B, or C vehicles that are designed to or used to transport 16 or more passengers, including the driver, that are pre-primary, primary, or secondary school students from home to school, from school to home, or to from school sponsored events. School bus drivers must also have a passenger endorsement. We're not going to read tank vehicle because that really doesn't apply to me. Minimum driver ages certification. Age. To apply for an interstate license, you must be at least 21 years old and be able to meet the qualifications to obtain a commercial driver license. See qualifications in this manual. To apply for an intrastate license, you must meet the Montana qualifications and be at least 18 years old. Medical certification requirements for Montana commercial driver license holders. As of May 21st, 2014, all physical examinations to obtain a medical examiner's certificate, a MEC card, formerly known as a DOT card or a DOT card, must be performed by a medical professional listed on the National Registry of Certified Medical Examiners. https://nationalregistry.fmcsa.gov/. And the dot was .dot. Okay. A medical examiner's certificate. I've said too many words in too soon of a time, and now I'm not able to say this word. Certificate. Thank you. Issued on or after May 21st, 2014 is only valid and acceptable if completed by a medical professional listed on the National Registry. So after May 21st, 2014, you've got to go to someone on the registry. Now, the thing about that is, the MEC is only good for 2 years, the MEC card, so it shouldn't be an issue. Keep your MEC current. Commercial drivers must maintain a valid medical examiner's certificate, MEC, on their Montana driving record. If you do not maintain a current MEC with the Motor Vehicle Division, your commercial driver license will be downgraded to a non-commercial license. And at that point, you've got to start all over. I know because I looked that one up already. You must provide a copy of your new MEC to the Montana Motor Vehicle Division prior to the expiration of your current certificate. You may do this by mailing or faxing a legible copy. Good luck getting a doctor to write legibly. Just saying. A legible copy, hope a nurse is doing it, because they always have pretty handwriting, of your MEC to the Montana Motor Vehicle Division. Even male nurses usually have pretty handwriting, in my experience. Mail 2, Motor Vehicle Division. Attention, CDL Help Desk, P.O. Box 201430, Helena, Montana 59620-1430. Fax number 406-444-1987. For more information, call the CDL Help Desk at 406-444-3244. Self-certification. That's usually military dudes. Doesn't apply to me, so we're going to skip that. But again, you can look at it online or whatever. The fees we're going to skip because you can look that up online. And for the factor of getting... These videos are all going to end abruptly. I'm really sorry for that. But it's because it doesn't have a timer on the camera to tell me when it's like, you know, whatever. Okay. New commercial applicants. Upon original application for a commercial driver's license, an applicant must present proper identification, proof of authorized presence, and evidence of Montana residence. If the applicant is a foreign national whose presence in the United States is temporary, the expiration date of the driver license will expire on the date of immigration documents. The word non-domicile will be printed on the qualified applicant's credentials. Please refer to pages MT-10 through MT-12 for the lists of acceptable documents to fulfill the authorized presence, proof of identity, and evidence of Montana residency requirements. New residents. If you have a if you have a valid commercial driver license issued by the jurisdiction from which you moved, you can still use it up to 30 consecutive days, after which time you must surrender it and qualify for a Montana commercial driver's license. Out-of-state commercial applicants presenting a valid commercial driver license may not be required to take the written skills test. Applicants will be required to fill out a Montana commercial driver license application, take a vision test, present valid medical examiner certificate, MEC, formerly known as a DOT card, and pay required fee. If a hazardous endorsement is on an out-of-state license, a written test will be required to transfer that endorsement. Additional federal requirements may be required if applying for a hazardous endorsement. See Hazardous Materials Endorsement Definition on page MT2. Any additional endorsements or upgrade in the class of vehicle driven will require testing, written and road. Written tests include questions on federal motor carrier safety regulations and state laws. If an applicant has held a valid driver license or commercial driver license in any jurisdiction other than Montana in the previous 10 years, the applicant must provide a list of those jurisdictions. Applicants who may lack functional ability to safely operate a motor vehicle on the highway may be required to complete written and driving assessments. You may have only one valid license in your possession at any time. If you have more than one, that's one of the major, like if you have more than one license, that's something that can get your CDL suspended. So what you need to do is when you go in for your test, you need to tell them, can you shut that please? Thank you. The fan's really loud when she goes in the bathroom. You need to tell them, I have a California driver's license. It's not a CDL, but it's a regular driver's license. And let them tell you what to do. Don't just be like, oh, I'm not giving them my driver's license or whatever, because that's actually illegal. I know that because I've looked it up. Okay, commercial driver license testing. Written test. All first-time applicants must pass the vision and written tests, present a valid medical examiner's certificate, MEC, formerly known as a DOT card, plus fulfill all other requirements for the class of vehicle you want to drive. The written test includes questions on federal motor carrier safety regulations and state laws. This manual has all the information you need. This manual has the information you need to know to apply for and pass the tests for an interstate or intrastate commercial license, Class A, B, or C. All endorsements and air brake restriction. If you only need a non-commercial driver license, obtain the manual titled Montana Driver License Manual. Information for motorcycles may be obtained from the Motorcycle Supplement Manual. If you are unsuccessful on a written or endorsement test, you must wait until the next working day that the exam station is open to try again. A total of 3 attempts to pass any combination of written and road tests are allowed on each set of receipts within 1 year from the purchase date of the receipts. So you get 3 times. Don't fuck it up. That's a RuPaul thing from Drag Race. What? It's a good show. Vision test. You must pass a vision screening exam at the time you apply for a license. See physical qualifications for vision requirements. Okay. If you've got a military CDL, there's like a test waiver. Driving demonstration. You must hold a CLP for a minimum of 14 days prior to the driving demonstration. May test on the 15th day. The driving demonstration consists of 3 steps: a pre-trip vehicle inspection, basic control skills test, and an on-road drive test. You must successfully complete each step in this order before moving on to the next. The test will be ended if a step is failed, and you will be required to reschedule a minimum of 1 week later. The driving test includes a pre-trip inspection test to make sure that you can identify truck and bus operating systems, and that you know how to inspect them for safety. If you are unsuccessful on the pre-trip test, you may not continue with the basic skills or road test. Before your commercial license can be issued, you must successfully complete the pre-trip vehicle inspection, basic control skills, and road test. And it sounds like in that order. The basic control skills test includes 3 basic control tests: a 90-degree alley docking, a straight line backing, or an offset backing. The test used is determined by the space available at the testing site. In some, I've heard about you having to do all 3. So basically, practice your tookie off. Your tookie is your butt. Practice your butt off. The road test will include starting, stopping, braking, turning, observing traffic signs and signals, using vehicle controls, observing other traffic, maintaining lane positions, downgrade, railroad crossing, upgrade, downgrade stopping, upgrade stopping, bridge and underpass clearance, and general observance of traffic laws and safe driving practices for trucks or buses. If you are unsuccessful on the road test, you must wait a minimum of 7 days before attempting again. Each applicant must provide a vehicle in good operating condition, currently registered and insured for the driving test. The vehicle must be within the vehicle class which the applicant has applied, be equipped with seat belts, and have a seat provided for passengers. Driver must also show a valid medical examiner's certificate, MEC card, formerly known as a DOT card, to examiner. Appointments are needed for Class A, B, and C driving tests. You may make an appointment only after passing the required written tests. If you fail to appear for a scheduled appointment and have not informed the exam station of your inability to keep the appointment prior to the scheduled time, a reappointment fee of $20 may be required to establish another appointment. Okay, the next part is upgrading, adding endorsements to a commercial license. Upgrading. The holder of a current Montana CDL may upgrade to a higher vehicle class or interstate license by taking the appropriate written or driving tests and presenting a valid MEC card, formerly known as a DOT card. Upgrading to a higher class or adding a passenger and/or school bus endorsement will require the issuance of a CLP, and it must be held for a minimum of 14 days prior to the pre-trip basic skill and road test being taken. May test on the 15th day. If upgrading from an intrastate to an interstate, you must also pay a prorated fee for the remainder of the life of your current license. Whew! Endorsements. Adding. Endorsements may be added to a commercial driver license by successfully passing the required written and/or skills test. The passenger and school bus endorsements require pre-trip basic skills and road testing in a vehicle representative of the vehicle class you will be driving. Which kind of makes sense if you think about it. Renewal. You must pay a renewal fee and have a valid MEC card, formerly known as a DOT card, in order to renew your driver license. The hazardous endorsement written test is required upon renewal, as well as any additional federal requirements. Physical qualifications. All applicants for a Class A, B, or C, interstate or intrastate commercial driver license will be required to have a valid MEC card, formerly known as a DOT card. There are some exemptions to the physical qualifications, but we're not going to go through those for time, but you can find them online. My contact's getting dry if you notice I'm blinking funny. Let's see. Driver disqualifications. Significant penalties exist for commercial drivers who are convicted of certain offenses. See major offenses. Disqualifications for 1 year, serious traffic violations, and railroad grade violations. We'll get to those. Employers must not knowingly allow, require, permit, or authorize a driver who is disqualified to drive a commercial vehicle. Penalties include, but are not limited to, loss of commercial driving privileges and heavy fines. You okay? Want me to stop? Commercial employers and employees must meet federal requirements pertaining to employment, valid licenses, etc. Commercial traffic violations carry many penalties for the driver. See Keeping Your Commercial Driver License section of this manual. We'll get to that. Out of service. This is important. This was one of the questions. If you continue to drive after being placed out of service, you will have your CDL suspended for 6 months for your first offense, or 1 to 3 years for your subsequent offense. Suspension penalties increase if the driver is transporting hazardous materials or operating a vehicle designed to transport more than 15 passengers. This is particularly important for if you have, so if you have under 0.04% for your blood alcohol content, if they test you and you have any traceable whatever, they'll place you out of service. I believe it's for 24 hours, but we're going to get to that in just a little bit. But that's one of the things why you can be placed out of service. If they place you out of service because your vehicle needs, like, repairs,